here. This is the not government statistics, okay? So it's more or less reasonable to believe that. And look at the shares of ASEAN Taiwan's investment. That's a huge percentage of Taiwan's investment, but it's in mainland China. So economically, these two places, I don't believe they can even separate. You know, one can't get by without the other. So, next one, please. This is just some other more how many of these VCs and the starts. It's academically interesting, but next one, please. Again, you know, capital history. Next one, please. That's again, then you see electronics. So traditional manufacturing is still quite a bit a large portion of it. As a matter of fact, a lot of you ride a bicycle. You know, most of the bicycle is made by a company, Taiwan, called Giant. But they make OEMs, make a lot of other different brands. And then their manufacture right now is in mainland China. Okay? Semiconductor, opto, and the biotechnology. Next one, please. So what's the future then for Taiwan? Globalization and China economic power is forced Taiwan entrepreneurs to play a new ballgame. Because in the past, the Taiwan entrepreneurs have been playing import technology, import idea, import whatever, and then they can very fast and catch up. Now it's different because China can do the same. And manufacture, they take it over, and the development, they can take it over. And pretty soon, R&D, they can catch up too. So Taiwan has to do it differently. But with the political situation, many of the Taiwan entrepreneurs, to me, is like you are play a ball game and with one hand tied with your back. It's sort of hindered somewhat. And we always like to talk about the two shores of this Taiwan Strait. You know, you have two shores, and Hong Kong is a place. And then those are like the Chinese business centers in the three places. But to me, they actually think about the same. The people are the same. I don't believe they are different. Even Mao Zedong couldn't change them. So we think not much difference. However, they do behave differently. The behave to be different is because their cultural and political system over there. And so Taiwan entrepreneurs has to say, where are you going to develop your future? So for Taiwanese entrepreneurs, your transformation from a culture of importing technology, engineering, and manufacturing to a knowledge-rich, creative culture is not easy. It's not easy. For example, even education system is difficult in such a way. I guess if you're all young people, and if you have kids, you know, you would love the kids will be listen to you and behave nicely. I mean, so is the Taiwan education system in Chinese when it says the student has to be listen to the teacher and be a nice student. But that doesn't create very many good quarterbacks or good ball players or risk takers. So that's, and then when you want to create a new product and create a new brand and taking really kind of a risk, it is not so easy. And the multidisciplinary team approach is a must in the future. I mean, even Stanford has to change. I mean, you just learn something in electrical engineering, I don't think you have a very bright future. You've got to know other things. And in a system point of view, not a, it's nice to know something deep, but if that's the only deep thing you know, then I got news for you. That's not very good in the future. So multidisciplinary team approach is required, and this is not Taiwan's very strong suit, because they are very suitable for a small group and focus on something. For example, right now, you buy any wireless router, you buy any of the network stuff, they're all from Taiwan, okay? But you don't see them come out with new kind of architecture of different things. iPhone didn't come out from there. They make them probably, right? So that's the thing. Another thing is about the rich stops at the third generation. That's an old Chinese saying. In other words, why is third generation? Because the first generation works very hard. They said, oh, I want my kids to have the best, all right? So they pampering their second generation. Then come to the third generation, my goodness. The second generation as well as the grandparents and really spoil them. And who wants to work hard? Usually that's the cycle in old Chinese saying, said, you know, the rich in the family don't last more than 3 generations, which in Taiwan happens. And you say, what happened? All right? Go to the campus, look now. How many Taiwan graduate students you see on campus? Not very many, but a lot of them from China. You see, China is just going through the same wave as Taiwan used to be. Because when I was here, in EE, we have more than a dozen Taiwan University graduates in EE. You will be hard-pressed to find that now here, right? So if you don't have the students going out into the world to pick up new things coming back, and locally the graduates, they are fine, but it's sort of like incest, you know. It's not very good biologically. So that's another problem Taiwan has to face, okay? And I'll give you an example. I've been their consultant and work with them. They almost got the Wii, won. But at that time, their thinking was they replaced the mouse with a 3D mouse. Because ITRI has a MEMS lab. It can make the MEMS. They made it. And they made a 3D. It reached the pilot production stage. But they were focused on PC mouse replacement. But they didn't think about to use it for game. At the same time, the team working on this one is mostly in the hardware, processing, and all that. No software. Software team wasn't very strong. And as you know, the Wii software is written by a little company right here, down in Palo Alto. Only 20-some plus people. Okay? Then, because in this valley here, you have these opportunities to have these people work together and fast. That's Taiwan has to learn, has to catch up with. So, because they didn't have that, then we now see how popular we become. And, you know, the team back in Italy, they've been sort of, how could we, you know, miss it? Yes, I feel very sorry for that too. But that's just one of the examples, the challenges they're going to face. Okay? And then you have to know the market. Also, you have to contact with Nintendo, right? So, the future actually could be very bright if we do things right. But that's true anywhere, anytime, for anything, right? So, hopefully, their political leadership is to maintain the peaceful Taiwan Strait. So don't bother, you know, focus on R&D and economic development. And I was jokingly saying Taiwan had a cultural revolution because mainland China had one, so they have to have one. And so they had that one, causes so much trouble and at the cost of their downturn of their economy. To me, I think that's very dumb. But what can I say, right? And for a while, I don't even want to tell people I graduated from Taiwan University because I lost a president who graduated from Taiwan University. And you capture Taiwan's window of opportunity, in my assessment, is like 3 to 5 years. After 5 years, I think China will catch up relatively fast. So you add that one, says, well, maybe 6 to 10 years. Okay, that's probably the most. The advantage in the high-tech area and its globalization experience to complement with the China market potential. Nowadays, everybody rushes to China, try to capture the market. But you are just like 2 hours flight away. But you can't, because nowadays, because of the political situation, anybody wants to go from Taiwan to China, you have to go through Hong Kong and Macau. It means 8 hours or more whole day for a 2-hour flight. I mean, that's, to me, it's totally stupidity. But that's the case. And then import talent all over the world. Because you cannot change grandparents spoil their kids. You can change parents spoil their kids. All right, so if you don't have all the talent, import it. Just like Silicon Valley, right? We import it all over the world. But you have to make it attractive. And politically, they will say they don't want to hire the people from mainland China. So why not, if they have it? I mean, the 2 hours flight, they're over, okay? So that's, I would say, if they can do all that, Taiwan still has a very bright future because the infrastructure, the clusters they have near Hsinchu and central Taiwan, southern Taiwan even, the cluster is a very good environment for entrepreneurs because you don't have to do everything. And just like Silicon Valley, right? If you do something, look, there's a good machine shop to make that parts, and there's a good software can do this and that. So you just do the integration if you have a good idea. Okay? So next, please. So therefore, I think the win-win situation is you take the advantages of all the 3 areas, combine them. You have internet to communicate, but mentally you should be able to accept all that and how to take advantage of it. So that's all I have. So thank you for your attention.
Bevan, thanks for a fantastic talk. Yeah, there's so many ways I'd like to follow this up with a lot of questions.